Hey. And welcome to the Escape with Nick and Ann. My name is Nick.
Welcome to Fright Night for real. And I'm Adam.
Welcome to the show where we talk about entertainment, sci-fi, comics, action figures, pop culture, and everything else nerdy. And we have, Adam, we have new guest. One you may have seen before, but we have a brand new guest, Sophia Cox. She's an artist.
Hi.
Welcome, Sophia. Thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you guys for having me.
Of course, of course. So I'll let Nate start actually with how did this kind of come about? How did you guys kind of meet? And that way we can figure out how you ended up on this on here.
Let me tell you, this is a really good story. So Sophia and I went to elementary school together, and she used to beat me up to take my lunch money. And I was like, one day,
accurate.
One day I'm going to make a comic book, and I would like you to draw a cover. And then I woke up and I was actually at a show, and I was like, hey, Sophia, nice to meet you. Would you like to draw for Night of the Chihuahuas? And I saw her work on Instagram. I was a fan following. She drew this amazing, is it Clea from Doctor Strange?
Yeah.
And I scraped all my pennies together, and I wanted to buy it. And by the time I think I got my pennies, somebody else had bought it. And
yeah.
But we kind of formed a relationship, talking, and we've worked kind of interwovenly through different things, on a couple different things. And most recently she did the main cover for issue 5. So I'll let her tell you if beating me up was fun.
So how easy was Nate to beat up in school? Like really easy, or
No comment.
no? Okay. That's probably for the best. So.
This isn't a political show.
Sophia, thank you so much for joining us. Like Adam said, we saw it, very briefly saw some of your Instagram, and it's fantastic. But I'll let you kind of introduce yourself, what you do, and we'll go from there. And wait, don't forget the nerd cred. So we need the
okay.
Nerd.
Okay, I'll try. Okay, so I'm an artist. I have been in this industry, or this area, the space, for about let me do the math there. I want to say 7 years. I did not grow up around comics.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Did we lose her? Oh, we lost her.
We lost her.
And
Sophia,
sorry,
hold on.
am I back? I don't.
Sophia,
Yeah, you're back. So keep on going. Oh, that's fine. Internet stuff happens. So
Okay.
There we are.
Something keeps. Okay. Sorry. Hopefully that doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. About 7 years ago, like I said, I did not grow up around comics or anything, which I wish I had, but I didn't. I was raised by a single mom, so I didn't find comics until my daughter was around 7. And so we found comics, and that slowly kind of snowballed into her going to her first convention, dressed as Squirrel Girl, which I handmade. Nice. And yes, cool. She got my degree in fashion design, so different. And so I call it my degree in Halloween costume making. But my husband took her to Comic-Con, and at that point we were like into the movies and things, and I love Spider-Man and Iron Man and all that stuff, but we were like so removed. And he took her, and like halfway through the day, it was Denver Comic-Con, and halfway through the day he called me and he's like, you should be here, not me. And so I went, and we like closed it out. Like we bought like everything, and I was like, this is the best thing. And I had like this eye-opening moment where I was like, I'd done art my whole life. My mom's an artist. It runs in my family. And I was like, oh, okay, this is what I want to do. And so that's kind of where it started. And I started just like doing that all the time, and ended up doing Denver Comic Con the next year, which was 2016 was my first convention, so I may have done the math wrong there. And it's just, that's how it started. And so from there, it's just been kind of, that's where I say I'm kind of a noob to the like nerdy arena. That's where it started. So then we also started collecting Funko Pops around that time. So we have, I think the last time we counted, it was over 150, maybe. It's probably a lot more by now. All Marvel. So we're big Marvel fans. My first comic book I read was Spider-Gwen. So I actually am trying to fill out that series right now, and I just actually was able to pick up the very first issue, which I didn't have. So yeah, so that's kind of.
You got a Grail, one of the first Grails. You got it, huh?
It's funny because it was like found in a box, and it wasn't even that expensive. I mean, it's the most expensive comic I've ever bought, but like my comic collection is like 2 boxes. So
Totally fine.
So my favorite series there would be Spider-Gwen, and then I read the Jane Foster Thor run. I believe it's Jason Aaron, his run, and that's my other favorite. So
okay.
So yeah. So other than that, I'm also a bit of a video game nerd. So I don't know if you guys talk about that, but
not so much. But it's
We
just
welcome
most,
all
I just don't have
nerd
ton of time for video games. But if you want to talk about video games,
that part
it's
of
totally
it.
fine.
So, okay, that's okay. So that's pretty much that.
Fantastic. And so I know you do. So you go to conventions, and I know just info from Nate, you do a lot of commissions. And you're kind of booked up on that, so that's awesome. Which means people are buying your stuff, which is
Yeah. So I do. I work for, well, probably hopefully ending soon, but I say that. I work for Upper Deck, so I do a lot of their cards.
oh, really?
Yeah, I've been doing that for quite a few years, and I think I'm at least going to be taking a very prolonged break, if not breaking away from that. But that's been really wonderful for connecting with people and doing commissions. So I do a lot of sketch card commissions, and for right now, and then yeah, I do a lot of sketch cover commissions as well.
So what do you do with Upper Deck? Just card designs?
I do
or
sketch card. Yeah,
sketch card,
so I
okay.
just do their sketch card, like the little original pieces of art that you would get in there.
How'd you get into that?
They actually contacted me. I would say it's been 4 or 5 years. I've been doing that, and they reached out to me, and I've probably done at least 3 or 4 sets for them every year since then.
Is that
So I've got three with me right now, sadly.
Is
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, I would say that's got to be a ton of work for. Is that just Marvel stuff or
Just Marvel, yes.
okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what would you say probably from your sketch? Which one's probably the one you love doing the most of? You have a particular character, or one of the sets that you think is the best?
I'm so glad you went there.
Yeah, probably my favorite thing to draw is probably females or women. I mostly because it's the easiest. It comes easiest to me. And actually, the thing I prefer doing the most is just like full size commissions. So usually just like paper and like 9x12 or 11x17. Unfortunately, that's like the least of. People really like to collect like sketch covers and the cards and things like that, which I get. So, but yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because you said
Well,
you just
I
got.
have a question.
Oh, go ahead, Adam.
Oh no, I just when Nick asked you that, I wanted to know specifically. I know you said you like Spider-Gwen. I've seen some of your Spider-Gwen pictures too. Do you have a favorite character that you like to draw?
You know, it's actually kind of funny
From
because from Marvel, I was gonna say it's kind of funny because as far as like Marvel is what I read and etc. But my favorite characters to draw are from DC. So I love to draw Catwoman. She's probably my favorite
cool.
character. Right there. And Catwoman
Awesome.
and Poison Ivy. And other than that, Spider-Gwen is probably one of my favorites to draw, but I never really post. I actually have one I'm working on right now that I haven't shared yet. But I don't
Can you
draw
share
her
it
as
with
much.
us?
I can, yeah. I have to grab it really quick.
Woo! Exclusive.
I say we're all about exclusive here. So
It's pencil, so I'm gonna see how. Oh shoot! I'm gonna see how well you can see it. So this is this is a new Spider-Gwen I'm working on. Oh, the light is really not working with me there.
There you go. There you go.
So that is what I'm working on right now, which will hopefully be printed soon. We have a Spider-Verse event coming up, so hopefully can get this done in time for that. But I think it's funny because while she's like my favorite character and I love drawing her, I think it's one of those things where I feel like I never quite capture her the way I want to, because I think I love her character so much that I feel like her face is always wrong or something like that, you know? So it's that I'm trying to work past it.
Are you fangirling on your own work?
No, I'm still closely. There's like 50,000 pencil like marks just on her face, like eraser marks, because I'm not happy with it yet, but we'll get there. So
it's funny you said you just got into comics like 7 years ago or something, approximately. Yeah. So I started collecting in 1992, and it's funny because the way you draw women is how I think of. I would say your art style is almost like 1990s females, because you don't draw female characters the way most people draw female characters now, which is I think slightly criminal, because no one wants it. Like,
it's done tastefully. It's done tastefully.
Well, it is. There's the thing. Okay, I want to see my superheroes doing heroic things and looking super cool. Like, I don't want to see like a dad bod dude, you know, and like, it's just one of those things. I want big muscles. I want, just, big everything. So
they don't exist. So
it's and that as soon as like it's like, oh, like Sophia wants to come out, I was like, oh, I'll go check her. So I was like, holy crap! Like, she draws stuff like that. I grew up, when I got into comics, I was like, that's how when I think of my superheroes, I think of early 90s. You got your Jim Lee, J. Scott Campbell, Michael Turner, all those guys who drew like amazing women. And I'd put you right in that category where the way you draw women are fantastic. So
that's amazing. That's very kind. J. Scott Campbell was one of my first, I would say my first influences, still a big influence, but like I have his art books. He was definitely like one of the first artists I found that I connected with. And I was like, I want to do that. And I just remember like drawing and trying to figure it out. And it just, I still don't think I figured out how he does it, but
no, like because J. Scott Campbell is like I think he draws women the best. Like it's so funny because people go afterwards like, that's not how women are. He's like, let me break down the geometry, because he's an artist. He can break down the geometry of, because the famous Mary Jane cover, where she's sitting like that, and
I remember all that drama. Yes. I think it's so funny because I've seen people say like that's not like anatomy, and he doesn't know. And I'm like, it's the amount of skill it takes to have the understanding of anatomy that he has, and then to be able to take it and stylize it and make it what he has made it is like so much skill and like takes so much work. Like, we can all only like hope to be there.
Well, and it's funny. It's funny you say that for the anatomy, because I remember, like I said, 92. We graduated high school in 99. Adam and I went to high school together. But and I remember, the one thing's like, I wanted to be a comic book artist. What do you got to do? He's like, anatomy class. Go take as much anatomy classes as you can. Just figure out how the human body works and the whole thing. So, and it's funny you say that because like you're like, oh, that's not how the human body works. I was like, have you taken anatomy and physiology class? Because
Yeah.
the human body is an amazing machine and it's capable of amazing things. Because all they
Yeah.
do is take the human body and just kind of pump it up, however much. But
Absolutely. And I've seen people trying to replicate the poses and things. And I'm like, okay, but you're talking about like in this world that doesn't exist, you're talking about like peak physical form. You're not talking about like your average person.
right.
So
And it's funny.
You said you like to draw Catwoman. She jumps up. Sorry, go ahead, Nick. I was going to say you like to draw Catwoman. She likes to jump off rooftops. You know what I mean?
exactly.
In stilettos.
let's
Right.
let's jump the uncanny valley, if we will. It's like it's still comic books, guys. But even I've seen a lot of cosplayers, try and redo the Mary Jane cover, and some have done it very, very well, very close. Where I'm like, it's not that. As long as you're a little bit flexible in certain spots, yeah, it's totally, you can totally do it. So
I've got my photo shoot after this to redo the Mary Jane cover.
well, that's on the next show, Nate. We're doing it behind the
It's an
scenes.
exclusive.
Sure.
It's another exclusive.
So,
Adam doesn't look very happy.
I was like, wait a second.
No.
I was
Oh no. I was.
It's trying to erase that.
Sorry,
and
just-
I have
you just
to.
caught
I
listening,
think
that's all.
that Sophia just added her nerd cred because she nerded out on anatomy and J. Scott Campbell. I think I give my flag of triumph for the nerd cred because there was like a whole like subgenre of nerd cred that was even more nerdy than I don't know.
It's funny because I knew because I can see it in her artwork. As soon as I said J. Scott Campbell, she'd know exactly who I was talking about. I was like, yeah, that's why I intentionally brought that up because, like I said, I can see the influence. I was like, she totally knows. She totally like J. Scott Campbell.
Yes, no, and actually, I lived in Denver. I'm in Phoenix now, but I lived in Denver for about 10 years, and at the same time, J. Scott Campbell lived there as well. So I did Comic-Con every year. So I never actually got to meet him because his line was always long, but I'd always see him someday.
Okay,
but then he came out, so
yeah. So funny story. It's not a funny story at all, but it's just nerdy. But so Adam and I went to Comic-Con where Jim Lee and J. Scott Campbell were signing at the same time, and this is how early it was in Comic-Con. They weren't even charging; it was free.
Wow.
And we were at the end of the line.
Yeah.
And this might be a touch out of the nerd realm for you, but David Prowse shows up. Do you know who David Prowse is? It's fine.
no, but I'm terrible.
No, it's fine. So he's the guy who was actually in the Darth Vader suit for the Star Wars movies. So he walks up to us and we go, he's like, who, he's like, who is signing? And we gave kind of a snarky answer because we were teenage assholes, but it was just one of those like.
Well, he tried to charge us $20 to get his autograph.
Yeah, well,
and then we
yeah,
and we just wanted our program signed. And he said no. Well, he didn't say no. Somebody jumped in front of them and like, these kids haven't paid. So we didn't have a lot of money. So we got in line for Jim Lee, and he was walking around and he saw us and he recognized us and he asked us. And then he literally asked, how much is he charging? And, said, he's a real celebrity. He doesn't charge at all. And I was 16 and, it was 1996. And, we were very, snarky to David Prowse, but he broke the teenage heart, man.
And also reflecting as an adult, realizing this is how this man makes money.
Right. I didn't even realize it.
Yeah,
I was
as teenagers were like, whatever, man. And he's just like, this is how I make my money, man. Like I signed at Comic-Con because that's what I got. But
I'm 43 right now. I wish I would have paid for it.
Oh yeah, and one of the biggest hey, I just wish I would have paid the $20 to get his autograph. But I got to shake his hand, and we got a fun story out of it. But that's my Jim Lee, J. Scott Campbell, and David Prowse story. But yeah, that's how early in Comic-Con it was because I think last time Jim Lee came to Comic Con, the Motor City Comic Con, I think it was 50 or $150 for him to sign, and he was only there one day. And yeah, it was kind of and so, and not that I've met like a ton of famous people. Jim Lee to this day is the only person I've got the deer in the headlights shock and all, like completely just could not speak. And that I'm literally like, he's like, oh hey man, and I didn't say a word, and Adam had to go, he's a huge fan of yours. Say something.
Hey, everybody. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that was it.
I'm sorry. I feel like I cut you off now. Can we all say hi to Josh because he's watching?
Hi, Josh.
Hi, Josh.
Hey, Josh. How you doing?
He wouldn't join us
Jerry,
today. Cut
Dr.
you
E,
off,
he said hi earlier, too.
Yeah, so Josh, we're going to be talking about mushrooms later.
Hey, Josh.
We're going to talk about Mario's Magic Mushroom Kingdom, level 4.
That's right. All right, so
speaking of, I was just going to say, speaking on the Jim Lee, I actually, I'm trying to remember what convention it was. I think it was LA. I think it was LA Comic Con a couple years ago, and I was handed a sketchbook. Somebody wanted me to draw in a sketchbook that they had, and I'm just like flipping through the pages as I always do to like look, and there's like a Jim Lee like a few pages behind where I was going to draw, and I was like, okay,
like,
really careful.
Oh, I'm in this book now.
Why did you give this?
Accidentally spill your coffee on it. Oops.
So, yeah. I was like, okay, thank you.
All right, so we'll get into some more nerdy art stuff just because I like to, just what I like to talk about. So I know you kind of sent a little bio over. You like working in watercolor, but just looking through your Instagram, like you work in just about every medium.
I do, and it's funny because I've kind of started really layering a lot of my mediums. So usually I start with watercolor, I go in with Copic markers, and then I have started finishing with colored pencil. But I am trying. We'll see how it goes because I'm like, I always like don't know when to stop type of thing.
That's the worst.
I'm trying to gear myself back towards watercolors and kind of be okay with like, I think I really like I tend to like love bright colors and things, and I like it's not finished till it's super vivid, but then again some of my favorite artists are like very much like watercolor artists, and they let that exist and be enough, and so I'm trying to get back to that. We'll see if it happens, but yes. So.
Yeah, not like picking fights or anything, but like, how do you feel about, and how much do you use like the digital art stuff? Because I know I've seen a lot of people are like, oh, digital art's the same. I was like, it's not. It is, but it's not. Especially when you're talking about working with like something as touchy as like watercolors. I was like, you can't.
Yeah.
How watercolors, finishes is how it finishes. There's no hitting undo on that one.
Yes. So I have dabbled in digital art. I use it currently to touch up some of my pieces if they're going to be made into prints. Really, it's like maybe there's a glow here that I didn't achieve the way I wanted it, or maybe, just to touch up some mistakes or pencil lines or whatever. I'm not very good at it. I think the most I actually used it is probably on the Night of the Chihuahuas cover. That was many layers because I didn't want to mess it up. So we started as watercolor, moved into markers, and then it became its own thing. And then I took it into, I use an iPad, I do Procreate, and I just smoothed the lines and kind of really touched it up and gave it a little more depth, a little more of a darker feel, which is hard to achieve with paints. So
Oh wait, when
that
Nate showed us this, I went like, "Oh my goodness," because that cover is that thing is gorgeous. Like just
okay.
Yeah, that's
that
absolutely stunning.
that cover
And I
is absolutely
I have it
gorgeous.
here.
And
So let's see if I can get the original, the actual painting, so you can see the differences. Let me see if I've got it on
okay.
hand. I think I do.
And I just want to shout out to Sophia how patient she was in the communication and working. I don't know if you can still hear me, Sophia, but
And
she was a true champ, going back and forth with some of the thoughts and kind of inputs. So
oh, you're too kind. You know what? I don't know if I do have it here. Give me 2 seconds to look.
So Nate, how hot is it in Arizona?
I think I saw 111 the last time I
What
looked.
a good God!
Oh yeah.
How?
You guys
How
are
do you
serious.
people not even die over there?
Well, you see, we have these things called rooms that you hide in, and it's really dark.
Do you just like go into caves like bears?
No, but look, this is the best part. Here, look at the forecast.
It's not.
Oh yeah, it's gonna.
So Thursday's gonna suck.
Wow.
150.
Yeah.
Good night.
I think this. Oh yeah, it was supposed to get up to 119 at one point, but that changed.
Do you even like? You can't even go outside.
Yeah, you can. I mean, the one
Not
thing here
long.
is it's dry, so it does help. But I was out for a while earlier. I went and picked up the books. I met somebody, and like by the time I got home, it's like you have to take a break. I don't know, like because it is. I mean, even though you're in the car, the sun is hitting you, and it's like pressure. I don't know how Sophia would describe it, but I came home and just took a break. So most people can't do much. What's that?
I've been really grumpy this week. I am like, I've been like all winter. You're like, this is amazing, and then I go outside and like, I was like, why do we live here? Why do we move here?
How do we live here? It doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. So, okay.
Yeah, I was upset because it hit 90. Like, and I'm like, this is bull crap.
Is it humid there?
Yeah, the humidity's killer. Like, you can't.
That makes it so much worse.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, because then it like come and like rain for a few seconds. You're like, oh, that'll help, and then no, it just makes it more humid, and yeah, it's just.
Yeah, I'm from Kansas originally.
Oh, okay.
Very, and I hate it so much. So get away. Sometimes I go back to visit, not very often, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so much worse. And I just I'm like, okay, 110. Thank you.
We lost that.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, so we were talking about the, different art mediums like that. So, like you said, you're not good. I was like, I'm terrible at the digital art stuff. Like, I just don't get it. Like, I don't have like a big drawing pad, but
yeah.
There we go.
Did you find something, Sophia?
I found, so you can see the painting and you can see kind of how we went from, which I'm going to post soon, but I haven't. So you can kind of see, see if I can angle it right again. I'm backwards. You can kind of see the difference in, sorry, I'm bad at the camera. In the colors of the painting, and it's not really showing up as, as nice here as it is, but so the painting itself is quite different. But we worked together to kind of achieve the final look that they wanted, and
so what is that? What is that then? Is that just, you said it's paint?
This
is that
the original painting?
Okay, but so is that acrylic or is that?
No, this is watercolors.
Okay.
A lot of Copic markers and a little bit of colored pencil.
Okay.
I'm actually gonna start trying to reteach myself acrylics soon. So it's a never-ending kind of battle there.
Yeah, I've tried doing.
I look fantastic.
Oh, sorry, I actually kicked her off the show. Sorry, Sophia. But yeah, I've.
Sorry.
Yeah. No cross, no show. Yeah, 'cause I started just trying to do like acrylics. I was just like, it'd be fun, and I'm like, it's not easy. And then you realize the difference between like good paint and cheap paint, and good brushes and cheap brushes, and you're like, this is a
And it
whole
sucks.
investment.
It sucks. I when I started painting and learning to do art, my mom is more of a fine artist. She does like acrylics and oils and things like that. And so that's what I learned when I was like growing up, and what I just did because that's what I was around. But it's been many years, and I'm hoping like I have a bunch of paints. Probably need some more. I don't know. I'm gonna try. One of my favorite artists who I look up to a great deal, and actually we're friends from very far distance. I don't know if you guys follow her at all, but Bella Ratchlin. I don't know if you guys have followed her, but she's an amazing artist, and if you don't follow her, you should. She used to do watercolor and Copics, and she has kind of transitioned into acrylics, and that's kind of what inspired me to. She's just like astounding. So
I follow her.
But yeah.
Look her
So
up,
I
Nick.
actually,
I'm working.
yeah, she's amazing. I actually got an original for Christmas last year. I don't know, but she's like one of my biggest inspirations. So yeah.
They spell it. Is it RACH?
Rachlin. Yeah.
Okay. Pull it up. Oh, I have it pulled up.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
that's good stuff right there.
Yeah. She's I don't know how she's not already on like Marvel and doing covers for them. She's
Because
astounding.
Marvel are jerks. That's why. That's the only
Yeah.
thing. That's the only thing I have.
I
to
believe
explain.
I could be wrong, but I believe she's done some like samples for them, but she's all the way in Israel, so but yeah, she's very kind, wonderful person, and also very
Just
talented.
Yeah, I'm watching this video. I'm just mesmerized
What
because I
was her
love
last
people.
name?
Rachlin, Rachlin, and yeah, quick
Sorry,
follow. She's amazing.
We are nerding out on this.
Yeah, I'll just you guys talk amongst yourselves. I'll just watch these videos because
So fun.
Oh wow!
So
Can she draw me as
I
a
love
superhero?
makes anything look good. So
there you go. Here's one of Nate. There we go.
Yes.
So she's one of your inspiration. Do you have any other inspirations as far as art wise, or just as far as things that inspire your that gets the creative
do.
juices flowing?
One of my biggest inspirations right now, which I think is one of the artists. I mean, everyone will know who I'm talking about. Who's making me want to get back to just kind of watercolors is Peach Momoko.
That one's up.
I have like a wall of her art. Would have been cooler to have behind me in my bedroom, but so her, and then and I think what's cool about her art, actually I'll touch on that, is that she's like cover artist of the year, and well deserved, and she's doing watercolor, and it's so like unseen in the to walk into a comic book store and see like what I do or what I used to do and see traditional art like that. And so I think obviously she's got an incredible style, but I really think she's kind of breaking down that idea that it has to be digital to be a cover, or it has to it's light, it's like washes and things like that. It's not I don't know. I think her work is just amazing.
Okay, is this her? Oh my gosh, she did the last Ronin cover. Or what is this?
She does like I don't actually know. She's like a magician. So.
She is. She puts
amazing.
out so much work too.
Oh,
And I don't know.
that's going on the list of things I need.
Christmas is
Thanks,
coming, Nick.
Sophia. I'm trying to save money.
Yep, so that's I think
Oh my
that's
gosh,
really
look
cool.
at that.
I think since she's become
That thing.
such a sensation, I feel like we're seeing more, or at least I am. Maybe I was just blind to it before. We're seeing more traditional art and more like not just that not typical like comic book cover. I don't even know how to say that, but we're seeing more like more traditional art and just kind of a different style of cover, and I think that's really, really cool. So
No, I know what you're saying, because let's be perfectly honest. And you don't necessarily have to agree, but I think there's been like the cover art, cool. You open the comic, you're like, no, thank you.
That's not in the Chihuahuas.
yeah,
That's how we reel them in. That's right.
Yep.
But
yeah.
But there's just so many comics where like, and I think there was one like the new She-Hulk. They're like, here's the cover, looks good, and then you open the comic, you're like, this is not, because I'm a visual person. Like, the story can be okay, but if the art can't be just like so, like the interior art's got to be good, because if you get a good art and good story, like that's just, that's perfect. But you can have a great story, but if you've got crap art, then there's only so much that that's going to take.
Absolutely. And then another inspiration of mine, lately I've been loving Colette Turner.
Is this going to cost me more money?
Let's stop talking about awesome artists.
She's kind of hard to find on stuff. She does stuff for she does like Vampirella covers and stuff. But I'm trying to think if she's done any other. Colette Turner. Let me make sure I've got that right.
I just read 2 different
Vampirella
storylines, I think. Yeah, I think I've seen her stuff now.
Yeah. I mean, it's stunning. And she's another one, I think for her cover, she does digital sometimes, but she's another like watercolor, colored pencil artist. So that stands out to me.
Yeah, and definitely a little bit of the kind of anime style, but
yeah, it does. Yeah.
That's,
yeah.
And that's the thing too. Like, I love seeing just different people's arts, and like you can kind of see like, hey, you could definitely tell this is a female artist, because she's doing women, and the women are amazing. Very similar to where I think if you saw your drawings, like, yeah, that's definitely a woman kind of drew that, and that's not me trying to be like sexist or anything. I think that kind of,
it's
you know what I'm saying.
I do. I had a guy one time, another artist met me, and I was just introduced him. I was like, oh, I'm an artist too. I can't remember where we met, but he was like, oh man, I bet you draw like the hottest women. Like, women always draw like the most attractive women. And I was like, I don't know. I guess that's true.
I could draw like dude superheroes, but when it came to women, like it was just always a train wreck. Like, it just never worked. I'm just like, I'll just draw dudes. It's fine.
Yeah.
But it's because it's almost like remember in high school when you actually had to write, and you could just look at the paper, you say, all right, that handwriting is a guy's, that handwriting is a girl, because it was just all bubbly and just. But I think it kind of translates to art as well, just because it's like you can just tell. It's just look at like the left art. You're like, that's a woman drawing a woman. And it's funny because like I said, now seeing women in comic books, you're like, that you can't tell half the time, because especially in the big 2, because you're like, well, it's the day and age we live in. Okay, well, when you can't tell which character is which sex, like I said, when when I look at my comic books, like I said, I want my dudes to be muscular, and I want the women to be beautiful. That's about it. So
Yeah, I agree.
so like in day and age where people are like, oh, like tone down the masculinity, and I was like, no, that's fine. Just don't be dicks about it.
Yeah.
I want my dudes to be masculine and my women to be feminine. Like,
Yeah. Yep. I'm on the same page.
All right. I feel like I'm the Sophie and I are the only ones talking. What do you guys got?
I haven't seen Adam for a while, and I'm just very happy to see him.
Oh yeah, Adam. How have
Happy
you
to
been?
see you too, my friend. I've been good. I've been good. Busy. This hand here is healing. Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so that was the last of that surgery stuff, and it's good to have that out of the way. Special thanks to my sister for taking me to my second surgery, and my brother-in-law for everything he's done too. So I can't complain, man. Just working a lot of hours and trying to fix some situations at
Trying to avoid going to Mexico.
So that's not going to happen now. My supervisor went, and I mean, it can happen down the road. Let's hope that doesn't happen. But we're steering in a positive direction. Let's put it to you like that. I work in quality, so anything could go wrong at any time. So, like I'm the guy when hey Adam, we got to talk to you at work, and I'm like, why?
Please don't.
What happened? And
Yeah,
like,
what's
oh no,
your
I just have a question about this. Cool. Nothing bad's happened yet? No. Okay, great. So it's good. I like the people that I work with. We work hard. So and it's been a lot of hours, as you know.
As we know. So we have not gotten your reaction, and Sophia, if you want to jump in on this as well, we had some big news drop last week as the casting for Superman and Lois Lane. So what do you think, Adam?
As far as how they look, I think they look the part.
Yeah,
They look fine.
But I don't know who they are. I've never seen them in anything. And I really had to like question the how do I feel about this, because I never did see the sequel to Man of Steel that I wanted to see. But I'm down for any Superman movie that they're going to make within reason, because I don't want to give that much carte blanche to Hollywood there, because you never know what they'll make. But I don't think they're going to kill him in it, so I'm kind of getting over that fear. So yeah,
that'd be nice if they didn't kill him in this first movie out.
yeah, but I mean, if it's supposed to be based off of that Grant Morrison comic, that Grant Morrison run, that's a hell of a okay. When they announced that James Gunn was going to be doing the DC universe and that he was going to specifically be doing Superman himself, the cover that they showed was All-Star Superman. I mean, that was a decision. Somebody thought to show that. That was the image they wanted to burn into your brain. And all I went was like, don't you kill him. I took it pretty serious. I was like, wait a minute. I read that. And it's a great book. It really is. All-Star Superman it's really good. But that's not what I want to see on screen right now. So I don't think that they will, though. But I think the two actors look the part. I'd like to know more about the script. And is this him? Are they going to take like an approach I'd like them to take the approach that they took in the Batman, where he's been Superman already for a year and people know who Superman is and all that kind of stuff. I don't really need to see him like find out who he is anymore. I just want to see, Superman do Superman stuff and take cash from trees.
I think they established they're not going to do the origin.
What's that?
I I think they established they're not going to do the origin.
That's a good idea. Good deal.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's how I am. Sophia, you got anything on Superman? Superman
I-
Legacy, I guess it's supposed to be called.
I can't say his name now, but
Henry
Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
my brain just gone for a second.
Yeah, he looks like Henry Cavill's younger brother. So they're like, yeah, let's go with this guy. It's like, okay,
I
or you
believe
just had the ready-made one standing over
Yeah.
here. But that's
I
Yeah.
I haven't read any Superman, so I don't. I wouldn't know, but
I'm like,
Oh.
I don't know. I've read a few Superman comics. Like, Superman's not my favorite, but I love me a Superman movie. Like, I will watch Superman movies all day.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it comes to like comic version, I'm like, he's like, to me, he's just one of those, like, he's just the most OP, superhero
Yeah.
ever. It's kind of like, well, that's not interesting, but a good
Yeah.
Superman movie, I'll watch that. Like,
Yeah.
100% up on it.
If you're gonna read a Superman story in the comics, I suggest two of them. One is Last Son, and I think that one's by Jeff Johns and Dick Donner. Dick Donner directed the first Superman movie, technically the second one. And then the other one is, the artist is Gary Frank, who I love Gary Frank, and he draws Superman like Christopher Reeve in it, but I can't remember who wrote it. It might be Jeff Johns, but it's called Secret Origins, and I think it came out like circa 2008, 9, or 10.
Okay.
And they even show him meeting the Legion of Superheroes in it. It's really cool. Those are
Well,
my
that's actually good.
two biggest recommendations for Superman.
So.
Yeah, Adam's our Superman and Batman expert, and plus other
Okay.
things expert. But yeah, he's the he reads the most comics out of all of us, I think. So, except Nate. Nate's an
Well,
animal.
You outread me this day and age. You do, but yeah, I got my. I have. There's two short boxes you can see here, but underneath them there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 1,000 comics right here in this corner behind me, roughly. And then over here's another 600. And I think under my feet I have about another 800. No, sorry, 5. So that's long boxes and short boxes all around my feet. Plus what I got in storage. I just love this stuff.
Rookie
Yeah.
numbers.
I love this stuff. I am the guy from The Simpsons.
Where's your ponytail?
My mom made me cut it off in the 8th grade and never grew it again.
Yeah, that's probably for the best.
I had long flowing hair in high school, and I had to cut it off for the military.
Did you?
You and my brother are
Cool.
pretty much the same. Where my brother had that long, like that '90s, the grunge rock look. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, you have fun with that. I remember I tried to grow my hair out one time. I was like, this is not for me. Like, it got caught in the car door a couple times. I was like, this is stupid. I don't like it. I was getting in the car with my sister one time, and I got my hair stuck in the car door. I was like, all right, fine, I'll cut it. Let's go cut my hair. So, Sophie, you also have an Etsy store. Is it okay if we go there and check out some of your stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. So. Now, Sophia, since I'll consider you're a professional artist. So I always think it's tough, just even as anything personal, like putting, a price point on things, because it's really hard to say, like, because you can't really break it down by hours. How would you kind of break down some of your artwork? Is it like, 'cause I see there's some black and white stuff and then color stuff. Do you kind of break it down that
Yeah.
way?
So there's some originals and prints. It's kind of a mix of costs. definitely when I started, I had no idea, and I just wanted people to like buy my art. And I remember I was doing a commission, a little card commission for a guy who's bought a few different pieces from me. He collects like Jean Grey, Phoenix art. And he commissioned me to do a little card, and it was one of the first cards I'd done. And I think I asked him, I was just looking at this little tiny card, and I was like, how much would people like want to spend on this? It's so tiny. And so I was like $40, you know? And he was like, I sent you 60 and I still don't think that's enough. And I was like, oh, okay. So it's been quite the learning process, and I've always appreciated people like that who've told me charge more. So I actually question my prices all the time because I find that I see like other artists, like someone like Bella Ratchlin that we talked about earlier, charging similar. She charges more now, but we used to be around the same price point for commissions, and I was like, who do I think I am? Like, what? But at the same time, like, I am slow. Like, I am not. It's something I'm working on, but I think that comes with like a better knowledge of anatomy and things like that. While I can make it look good, it doesn't come as easy to me. So I might struggle with it more than someone who is very versed in anatomy. So I have to charge what it takes me. People ask me all the time. It's actually one of the weirdest, like most common questions I get. Like, how long does something like this take you? Like when I'm at a convention, and I really don't know what to say. Like I would say like a full like 11 by 17 commission is going to take me like 15 hours. Is a guess. A solid. It's also because you're sitting there at your desk. It's just like anything. You're like on your phone. You're getting up. I have 2 kids. I work at home. This is what I do. So it's like I never really can keep track of it.
It's not just like hitting the time card and you're just plowing through. Like that's the thing. I was like, that's not how creativity works.
Yeah. So and I also like, and then I touch on I charge $20 for my prints, and when I'm at a convention, I usually offer buy 2 get 1, buy 2 get 1 free. Sorry, my brain. But and I find that especially more and more, I'm on the more expensive side of the print costs. I do all my prints myself at home, so I charge what I charge. And I remember one of my very first conventions, I was sitting, and I wish I could remember the artist because he's a pretty big inker in the industry. He's like well established and works on bigger stuff. He was a few booths down from me. And I went down and I bought a Lady Thor print from him. And we chatted for a little while. He's a really nice guy. I follow him on Instagram, but can't remember his name. And he was like, he came down to see my art, super cool. And he was like, I'm glad you're charging $20 for your prints. He was like, don't charge less. He was like, first of all, your art is like, your work is worth it. Second of all, when you see these people coming in and charging like, and I mean, I understand why people charge less, and if you can, that's great. But he was saying like, I see people charging $10 or $15 or even $5 for prints, and they were like, he was like, he's like, I'm always going to charge $20 for my prints. And he was like, it basically, if someone's walking by and they're like, why would I buy this for 20? It's just people are looking to buy. So he's like, I always tell young artists, like, put your prints at $20 minimum because that's where they should be. And so I've had a lot of wonderful people tell me that, help me along the way and tell me what I should be charging. And it's just genuinely where I'm at now is probably close to where I'll stay for a while with price. But it has been a gradual growth of prices, especially as I got busier. Like right now I do have like a running list of commissions, and with other work I've been very slow at them. So I have no problem if someone is like not willing to pay what I have because I don't have the time. So anyways, it's been a slow process getting to the price point I'm at now, but probably where it'll stay for a while.
I would say for prints, that's what I paid. And especially at Comic-Con, because at Comic-Con, I pretty much just walk up to people, open my wallet, and then just take what you want. And then I'll say thank you.
Take one of
Um,
these and one of these.
Because I brought my wife last time. It was probably for the best because I was just like, oh, we're gonna spend some money. She's like, oh, we are. It's like, oh yeah. And then each time we'd walk up to a booth, I was like, she's like, easy. She's like, the mortgage is paid, right? I was like, yes, the mortgage is paid. So fine. But yeah, I think at Comic-Con, like I said, the definitely the purse strings are a little bit looser. But
Yes.
like I got to go get prints from the guy who just took over for Turtles for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I was just like, take my money, thank you. But actually, it's kind of funny because in that where Comic-Con's at, you can't get any internet service, so I was trying to use my credit card, and it wouldn't go through his card reader, and it kind of turned. He's like, "Yeah, the card's not working. How much cash do you have?" I was like, take my cash, but it's not enough. I'm like, Gavin Smith, I still owe you $15. I'll get you next Comic Con, I promise. But yeah, it's but yeah, $20. I was like, that seems very in the ballpark. I would dare say medium, if not low range for some of the
more.
stuff.
I think if you catch some of the artists who are with like comic sketch art or something. And I was wanting to get some prints from a couple artists down there. But I was like, dang, $35. Like, I don't know. I have a lot of prints sitting in a drawer that aren't on my walls. So I went and bought some original art instead. So I don't know.
Yeah, there was a few of those where like, hey, sign in a sketch for like $35. Like at home, I'm sitting here like, maybe not. At Comic-Con, I'm like, let's go.
Oh yeah.
But,
yeah. I feel that.
So, Sophia, what events you have coming up? I think I saw you have some events that you're going to be at.
Right now, I'm just going to be. We've got a little Spider-Verse across Spider-Verse. Nathan, are you guys going to be there?
I will not, but I think David might be there.
Oh, it's at a local comic book shop here. So they're doing like, come draw your spider.
Plug it. Strange Adventures. I'm saying plug the place.
Yes, you're better at that than me.
No, it's Strange.
That was me setting the ball on the tee for you there.
No, it's a great comic book shop too. So I'm really happy to have connected with them. So they've been awesome. So I'm excited for that.
So and you're going to be doing what there necessarily?
I'll have a table with my art, and then we'll be doing. I think we're doing like create your own spider persona, like your little Spider-Man personality, and then I am trying to remember what else we're doing, but there'll be a lot of fun like family activities, so it should be a good time.
Fantastic. So, and I think you're the only person here, unless Adam's seen it, who's seeing Into the Spider-Verse. If you want to give a quick movie review for you.
Well, those movies hold like a special place in my heart, so I may be biased because
totally
so Into the top 5 favorite movies for me.
I think David said that was like one of the best ever. I was like, whoa, David.
I think so.
James Gunn called it the greatest comic book movie of all time.
He also gave good reviews to The Flash too. So
I think
it wasn't that bad.
I didn't see The Flash.
Yeah, it was.
It was amazing. Obviously, like I said, Spider-Gwen's one of my favorite characters. So getting to for her to have that, there's a little intro for her in this movie. I know you guys haven't all seen it, so I won't spoil anything. But
you get a little bit. It's fine. Go ahead.
I've seen it.
Okay.
I've seen it.
Oh, well, Nate.
You get a little bit more of her background, and I think, and this is no spoilers. I don't think. The way they were able to portray her world from the comics, the art style that I believe Robbie Rodriguez did for her is incredible. And they really captured it. And I mean, like, me and my daughter and I were she's 16. We're like massive fans of her. And so we were both like sitting there in tears. Like it was just like this really wonderful moment in Across the Spider-Verse where they were able to bring that to the big screen. I think it was phenomenal. So for me, I mean, I'm biased, but it was an amazing movie.
Yeah, I think that was originally supposed to be 2 movies that they kind of condensed into 2. I think it was supposed Spider-Gwen was supposed to have a own movie, and then Miles Morales was supposed to have his own feature. And I think they just kind of said, we're just going to kind of put these 2 together. And I think people said you could kind of tell that, but it totally, it still worked. So
yes. See that? I didn't actually know that. I know they have the next one coming out next year, supposedly, or maybe it's been pushed back. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it got pushed back, even because I know the animators were all upset because like it shouldn't be a script issue because the script should be done, so it shouldn't be a writer's strike issue. But I know that was one of the things that got pushed back for some reason. I forget exactly what it was, but I know the animators in the studio were kind of pissed because they're just like, no, like we want to work, like let's go. Yeah, they're pretty psyched because they just had a very successful movie come out. So
yeah, I imagine it's kind of a dream project to work on just because they really let the artists kind of take control. And clearly, it's like, in my mind, it's kind of just a visual masterpiece. So there's some scenes you're watching where you're like, this is like a painting. Like, this is insane. It's really...
Yeah, there's certain like panels. I was like, it'll look like pastel-y, and you could see the different mediums. Like I know even what was the first one that they did? The first so like even the way they did frame rates for the young Peter Park or the young Spider-Man versus where the more experienced Peter Parker was actually at 24 frames. Another one I think was at like 16 frames because they could just tell like he's just more mature, just a little bit smoother and everything, and just creatively, I think I was just like, how do you even think to do that?
I was reading about that as well, and I think that's just amazing. So.
To take it to that level where like video nerds and art nerds are like, oh, that's different. That's another level. We went another level, guys. Fantastic.
Yep. Yeah.
Alrighty. What else we got, guys?
I just want to say I looked it up for that event is at Strange Adventures, July 15th from noon to 6. There's several artists, some writers. Draw along with your comic artist, design your own Spider character, write a background for your character, and meet Spidey and his amazing friends. So I'm not a part of that. That was just a free plug from the Chihuahuas.
I appreciate that. I couldn't remember exactly everything. That was terrible because I should. It's gonna be fun.
So, alrighty then.
I
don't. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I could show those covers that I got.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So
yes, please.
This is a comic book show. We like comic books. So
these were supposed to be special for Kickstarter only, but no one really ordered them on Kickstarter. This was our best selling book, but we didn't get a lot of pledges this time. But here is the 7 Seas cover, and it's hollow foil, so it has a super sheen to it. Good. And it's right here. You got the glare of the lamp, but on the when you look at it directly, the whole thing is like black, and just the skull and the blades reflect the light. So we are doing a limited run of these. There's a reason, which I think we talked about Disney and stuff like that. But you guys will be getting one of these in the mail. Not the hollow foil. That's for when we actually meet in person.
Oh,
I got to have like special gifts for you.
Okay.
Hey, Nate, I just want to put my order in for issue 5, which cover I want.
Okay.
It's a little hint. that one.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one I want.
Me too.
Still around.
Yeah. I've got stuck in a little quandary. Is that there's two artists that we were set up to work with, and things changed, and I don't. One of them actually is. I don't know how to like. They have more followers. I'll just say that they go to lots of shows. Anyways. We actually had contact with this guy, and like we were ready to go, and something changed on our part, and it was like, oh, he was like disappointed. He's like, I love your guys' stuff. I was very surprised, but now I want to make it happen still, and we talked about a trade book, and then the idea for a manga book came in, and making a deluxe manga edition with like writers and like notes and sketches and things. So maybe that would allow me to get another comic book cover in. But yeah, we're closing in, guys. Hooray!
Sophia,
so exciting.
Wonderful.
I know you do a lot of covers and commissions, but is there interest in doing panel comics, actually interiors of comics, or has there been anything like that?
What do you mean? Oh, sorry, Sophia. I'm sorry.
I would say yes. I am interested in it. I would say I have a lot to learn.
I would say just as I'm asking the question, I was like, it seems like it's just like kind of a different beast going from one.
I'd really
one
like to do.
Right.
Yeah, I have just again like I would need to be faster at drawing. So I think I'm actually planning on hopefully kind of like I feel like I've hit a point with my work where it's like, okay, what am I doing next? And while I am self-taught and everything's been great, and I mean, it's people will say, your work's already so good, but I think probably one of my next steps is taking some courses on anatomy just to kind of really have more skills so that I can work faster and do something like interiors. I would need to not have to think so much about it, and also, like I said, I can draw men, but it's not my forte. So,
but also I think that might be where the digital aspect comes in, because I think the interiors would be much more digital friendly instead of just all hand drawn.
Yeah, I think you can do both. Like that Peach Momo that we were looking at earlier, she does her interiors traditionally.
She does her. So she's just not cover artist. So she does interiors as well. Oh, okay.
Yeah, she had her own of comics for Marvel that was like called Demon Days, and it was and I'm probably gonna say this wrong. Maybe Nate knows better. It was like I read it ironically, but it was like Marvel characters reimagined and like kind of like I don't know if it's I believe Japanese like folklore kind of. So like Psylocke was I think the main character of the first one, and it was all done in watercolor and amazing.
Wow.
So it can be done. I think it just takes again just the skill and the knowledge to do it. So
that reminds me of that animated Batman. That was a Batman Samurai. Well, I was like, this thing's amazing. They all get sent back to feudal Japan, and there's giant robots and everything. I was like, I don't know what's happening here, but I think I fell asleep for a little bit. I was like, I don't know what's happening, but this is all amazing. I don't know.
That's how I felt when I watched Scott Pilgrim.
Right.
Scott Pilgrim's one of those weird movies you either get it or you don't. So I remember I was watching with my wife's oldest son, and we're like, "You gotta watch this movie." It's just like, what the hell? Like, why does he have a piss bar? I was like, that's the. If I have to explain that, then you don't get it,
You don't get it.
Yeah, you don't get the piss bar and how funny that is, then I'm sorry. I don't know if we can do this anymore. So, Sophia, if anyone wanted to get a hold of you for a commission, what would they have to do?
The best way to contact me is through Instagram. which I know you had it up earlier, but Sophia Cox Art. That's just genuinely, I mean, you can email me. I have my email on there. You can contact me through Etsy. I do most of my commissions come through Instagram.
So that's just the easiest way, or run into you at a Comic-Con.
Yes. Find me convinced. I don't have any conventions set up right now for this year. I kind of was taking a break a little bit. I did Phoenix Fan Fusion with Nate and Night of the Chihuahuas, so that was really fun. Hopefully next year I'll be back at some conventions.
So, what's the kind of the farthest you go with conventions? You kind of stay towards the West Coast there? Or?
So far, what I did Denver for many years, and then I've done LA, and I've obviously been here in Phoenix. This is my first time in Phoenix this year, and then I've done Planet Comic-Con in Kansas City, which is actually one of my favorite probably that I've ever done. So, really good time.
I'm just scrolling through your art.
I love your Elvira.
No, yeah, I would love to travel more for conventions. It's just, a matter of when does it become not worth it,
Well,
So
and it's funny you say that, because I asked Nate this last time, because I know obviously San Diego's the mother of all Comic-Cons, and they were talking, hearing some people some people are vendors aren't going because it's not necessarily worth it to go, and because I think that, Nate, do you know offhand or even roundabout what it takes to get a table at San Diego?
I think it's a lottery-based system, and it's pretty expensive. I want to say upwards $600 more. I mean, most conventions that I look into are, I think, between $200 to $400. And I could be wrong on San Diego, but somebody just told me that there's attendance is like 200,000.
Yeah.
Plus. I think I would melt down. Sophia saw me at Fan Fusion. I was having a hard time. I was like, oh my God, everyone's here and everyone's behind the table. Please, America.
Just take it.
You guys,
Get away from me.
Yeah, from my understanding, it's not San Diego is definitely not worth it unless you're like a big major name. Like unless everyone's coming there because it's such a big draw for like the actors and stuff that it's become something that it's become its own thing. It's not.
Yeah, they've become pop culture cons and not necessarily actual Comic Cons. So. Oh
yeah. No, I was chatting with a bunch of artists at Phoenix, and I was just saying like it is amazing. Like I love anime. Like I watch it with my daughter. She's big into it. But it is amazing to walk around and just look back at the first convention I went to, which obviously isn't even that long ago, and be like, there was all superheroes, and then to go and be like, I mean, there's like a section that's superheroes, and then it's mostly anime as far as the artist alley goes.
Yeah.
They've definitely differed, and then on top of that, they've just gotten more expensive. Like when I started doing Denver Comic-Con, which then became Denver Pop Culture Con, which is now done by Fan Expo. So now it's Denver Fan Expo. It was like $225 for a table. And then even looking around, that was pretty average cost then. And I think I paid almost $400 for LA. And that was like the worst show I've ever done for me personally. So it's kind of crazy. It's crazy. They're so expensive, and then it's like, does my art are people even there for it, just because it's become more of, like you said, pop culture and stuff like that. So
you brought up anime. What's your top? I want to say, because I'm trying, always looking for more stuff. What's your what's some good anime that
I'm the wrong person. I watch whatever my daughter tells me to watch.
Okay.
And even then, like, she's the expert. But, like, I think the last thing we watched together, we watched Chainsaw Man. And that was really, really good.
It's so funny you say that, because so my wife's daughter sent me a picture of her son holding a Chainsaw Man little statue, and I got red points because I was like, "Oh, is that Chainsaw Man?" You know, because I don't do anime, I don't do manga really, but I'm intrigued by it because I just like just because I like good storytelling. And she's like, "You totally got cool points because you knew who Chainsaw Man was." I was like, "Yes." And then
There
I
you
sent her a
go.
picture of my Ninja Turtle figure. She's like, "That's nice." I was like, "Okay, we're not exchanging." Okay, that's fine. So,
Yeah.
because I know they have the Chainsaw Man, the manga, and then they have the anime. The anime, what is that on? I forget which one. Is that
I
on?
think you can watch it on Hulu.
Is it on Hulu? Okay.
I think so. I don't know. Yeah, my daughter had read it all, and then so when it came out, she was like making us sit down at every episode. Have to watch this. So
yeah, that's one I definitely want to check out. But every time I go and say, "Hey, I'm gonna try," going into anime and watch this, there's always something that happens where I just go, "What the f, Japan?" Like where I was watching
we were kind of watching it. And we were like she's 16, but and we've had this moment before. We're like, what? What are you reading?
Yeah, because I was watching Berserker. I was like, "This is really cool," and then we get to the end. I'm like, "What the hell happened? Why are there demons having sex with people?" I'm like, "What?"
Yep. Yeah, that's like her favorite.
Sounds like it went berserk.
Yeah.
It definitely did at the end, but yeah, it definitely had to be like, "What the hell, Japan?" Like this is why I have trust issues with things I watch.
Yeah. No, I get that. I agree.
So, any other ones that you recommend that you liked?
You know what? Other than that, I'll be totally honest. I've really only watched enough of to comment on the big Demon Slayer and My Hero Academia. And then my daughter is really, and my daughter and my husband were really into Attack on Titan, which is, if you guys have seen it or know anything about it, she was watching when she was 7. And it's and I go back and I'm like, what in the world were you letting her watch?
Because that's not nightmare fuel.
No, she was telling me the underlying themes. She's like, it's not really about the Titans. It's she's 8 and she's telling me that it's about
hey mom,
the government.
Here's the allegory. You're like, what?
Yeah. So so that's, I haven't watched that, but they loved it, and then she's really obsessed with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and she's tried to get me to watch it, and my God.
That's what I watch. Yeah, that's one of those just looking at it, I was like, I don't know if I can go here. I watched the first season of Attack on Titan. I was like, that's really cool, but I was like, is there 10 seasons of that show? I'm like, how are we just keep this train rolling? I was like, I think I kind of get the grasp of it. That's fine. But it's funny because the first anime that actually holy crap, this is amazing, is considered like a talkie. It's so old now, but it's Cowboy Bebop, and that was the first one where I was like, this is freaking awesome. And if this is how anime is, and I was like, no, not all anime is like that.
Not all anime, no. Yeah.
So, but all right, Sophia. Well, I think Adam and I are going to get into. We have to talk some Flash here. So if you want to bail, it's totally okay. Or if you want to hang out, totally okay. So leave it up to you. But
I have to go. So
Nate's got to go.
Well, thank you guys both for coming tonight.
Yeah,
Sophia,
absolutely.
Nate, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
And Sophia, anytime you want to come on, and I'm just saying, if you were to do a Ninja Turtle commission, I'm just saying there might be someone out there who lives in Michigan who might want one. I'm just saying. So
my husband would be
a Gen 13 right here.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't done any of that, but that would be.
So, but
Awesome.
Sophia, thank you so much, and it was a pleasure having you on, and hopefully we'll have you on in the future. So,
Yes, absolutely. It was really fun. I appreciate it.
no problem. Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Great to have you.
Hi guys.
Good night, guys.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye, Nate.
Later.
And you get kicked now. And then there were two.
Bye.
Bye. So,
I don't think we should talk about the Flash. We should talk about the Gen 13 cartoon because I just watched it again.
oh, did you
the
watch?
first time in
Oh,
like
dude,
4
I
years.
saw they remastered it on YouTube. I damn near, I was like, I don't have time right now, but I will come back because I don't think I ever actually sat down to watch it. So,
We sat down and we watched it like once or twice, and we were like, "Yeah, it's a shame they didn't finish it." Well, it looks pretty good, dude. I mean, it was fun. I wouldn't necessarily. Fuck it, it's one of a kind. It's all like the only live action Gen 13 there is out there. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
yeah. So it wasn't like Flea was grunge, right? Was there anybody else that was?
Alicia Witt was Caitlin Fairchild. Alicia Witt was the redheaded. She played Sybil Shepherd's daughter in that television show, Sybil.
Hold on a second.
You'll remember Alicia when you see her.
Well, I just typed Gen 13 into IMDb and two things popped up. I said, wait a second. So,
and then the guy who played
yeah,
the Q was Lynch.
Yep, John Delancey, Elizabeth Daly was Freefall, Flea was Grunge, Mark Hamill was Threshold. Holy crap, there was some actually.
Yeah, he was way better in this than he was in Masters of the Universe.
I
He was
actually
way
forgot.
better.
I forgot Threshold until I just said, I was like, oh crap, I forgot about Threshold.
Yeah, but they didn't do a Bliss.
No. Yeah, see, I'm just looking to see additional voices. Who was? Okay, so John Delancey was John Lynch. So.
John Lynch. Yeah. They took some artistic liberties they didn't have to take with that. Like, I don't understand why they had to get rid of Bliss and get Caitlin Fairchild, but whatever. So those two were brother and sister. And there was no Bobby in it.
I was like, hold on a second. There's no Burnout.
But yeah, no Bobby, and there's a Rainmaker, but they just fight in like a little like gladiator match. But I'll tell you, man, it did capture the spirit of Gen 13. You know, the original Gen 13.
Right.
It was cool seeing it. It was cool seeing like people referred to as SPBs.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like I said, I just came across that on YouTube. I was like, oh crap, we're gonna have to check that out. That's going on the list. So, anything else? What else you got, man? It's been a while, so you've been reading, watching.
I wrapped up.
What do you got?
I have not really been reading or watching anything. I've been spending a lot of time, on the grind. But my sister has been watching Suits, and
Okay.
I had never
That
seen that
just
show before. Yeah, and it's entertaining. It's pretty cool. I didn't know that that's where Meghan Markle came from.
I was
We
going to
said
say,
we
I
wouldn't
think
talk
that's the Meghan
politics,
Markle
but
show.
That's what I call it, the Meghan Markle show. She is a good-looking woman, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, she's crazy, but that's fine.
Yeah, how do you know she's crazy? What do you mean she's crazy?
Have you seen
How do
what her and Prince Harry have been doing?
Not lately. What do you mean?
They put out okay, first of all, their complaint they came over to America, so he separated himself from the royal family, and then they come over to America and they're like,
Right.
we don't understand why you guys are just bothering us. We just want to be normal people. By the way, buy our book. It's like, shut up.
Oh,
morons.
well, that's what every celebrity does. I thought you meant like serious, like Randy Quaid. Crazy.
I mean, it's just starting. She's young. It'll be fine.
She's young. It'll be fine. So yeah, man. I don't know. Other than that, that's all I got. I got something I can show off here real quick. Hold on.
Oh. I've got things to show off too. So, as everybody, Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna play the video.
This was a pre-order, and I pre-ordered it at the beginning of May because I knew it would. I knew it would sell out, and it has.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The Hush Batman.
No, I've got that one
Or
over
it's
there
not
too.
the
This
Hush
is
Batman.
the
That's-
Nightfall.
Oh, Nightfall. Nightfall, right. Yeah, that was a good call on the dude. I haven't found anything interesting McFarlane like in the wild, like at all. At all.
Oh, I can show you what I got for my birthday from my nephew.
Okay.
Hold on. He made my speedster family dreams come true. So he picked up Impulse for me, which this is the grandson of Barry Allen, I believe. Bart Allen from the future.
Nice.
Okay. Yep. I love Impulse. I love that character. Actually, this character, they called him Flash. No, they called him Impulse, but everybody thought it was the Flash. He was in Smallville. They just never gave us whatchamacallit, his history. And then we've got the first Flash, Jay Garrick. So yeah, man. My nephew, he really took care of my speedster stuff for my birthday. And I turned 43.
You old bastard.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I gotta show off my
Blood pressure meds working.
What's that?
I said the blood pressure meds are working.
Yeah. So I did pick up some Ninja Turtle stuff in the wild, but I gotta play this first. So that's what happened. I was like, when I show turtle stuff, I'm gonna play that. So all right, where is that? So
I didn't see anything when you showed something.
oh, okay. It'll be fine. You'll watch it. So I got the
All right.
Casey Jones pop. This is the Black Light Hot Top exclusive. So
Oh, that's cool as hell.
it's pretty sweet. So now I have to get a black light to properly display it. So that's fine. I did found the Mirage Splinter in the wild. Very excited because this comes with one, not only a teapot, but it comes with the broken mutagen tube and also 4 tiny turtles.
Oh, hell no.
Freaking
That's
adorable.
awesome.
You can't see them because they're so tiny, but they're there. And then also from the oops. Okay.
I'm getting yelled at.
Oh, okay. I was like, what's that sound? Because I accidentally set something down on the keyboard. Also from the Mirage lineup is the Ultimate Foot Ninja.
Ooh.
One, a very nice folding case, but also look at all the accessories. NECA just does it right.
NECA's just nuts. NECA is nuts. I'm sorry, I have to pet this cat or I'm going to get bit.
Oh, that's fine. We'll wrap it up here soon. So, yeah, actually, we'll wrap it up. It's fine. So, all right. So,
I pet her. We didn't have to end right now. No, I'm kidding.
It's about that time. So, plus the
closing time.
The tummies are grumbling. So,
hey, let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Closing time. Semisonic. That's a song we wouldn't have given a second thought to back in the day. What about now?
Yep. Not
you
bad.
like it? Not bad.
It brings back nostalgic memories. Plus, I can't remember how many times I've heard it at a bar at closing time.
Yeah,
but it actually, I drive my wife crazy with how many times like I'll hear a song, and it'll be like Third Eye Blind or something like that. I was like, you ever think like they'd still be playing Third Eye Blind like 20 some odd years later? And she's like, why do you always ask that? Because I was like, it just at the time you're like, hey, are we going to still be hearing Matchbox 20, 25 years later? Like, just one of those things that just like
not.
Yeah, I would say there's a lot of time we're like really hoping like they'd stop playing it now, let alone for another 25 years. But
Yeah.
I drive my wife nuts with that question. She's like, please stop asking me that. I'm like, no, but thank you.
Right.
So, but all right, my friend, time to
All
wrap it
right.
up. So,
I had a blast.
yeah, it's good to see you again. So, if you want to check out what we're talking about on the show, go check us out on Facebook, Instagram. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so. We're trying to get at least to 100. That's the goal. So, we're actually putting another push on because I'm going to try to put out more content for the channel and help us get going a little bit more. I need to start. I haven't been slacking on loading the show to the podcast, but if you do want to check out some of the older shows, you can check us out on all the major podcast platforms. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audible, and Google Podcasts. So, other than that, my friend, any final words?
Love you, Planet Houston.
Good night, America.